Who are the top 10 Arizona Cardinals going on right now? On this roster, we're going to rank them, Johnny Venerable.
Plus, who needs to be in the top 10 this time next year? And we're going to dabble some special teams. So buckle up. PHNX Cardinals ahead of a holiday weekend starts now. Hey, welcome in. Live from Studio K, presented by our friends at Circle K. I'm getting there. It's the PHNX Cardinals podcast, your premier #1 Arizona Cardinal podcast. Look and subscribe. Leave us a 5-star wherever you get your programming. I'm Johnny Venerable. He is Brack in Studio K. Noah Man behind the mic here. Thank you for joining us ahead of this 4th of July holiday weekend here to talk some Cardinal football. I checked my watch. We're about a little over 2 weeks out from training camp, friends.
Cannot wait. You'll get it back. I think you'll get your live back before you know it. But look,
you just coconut water. I need some Epsom salts. I need all of it.
Jeremy Bailey with a live, but it needs a little gristle in there. That's what we've got these last 2 days. Just working out, knocking the rust off. That's what's going on with Johnny Venerable. What's up, Snacks? How about Shaft in the chat? As always, Too Slim Shady, Matt to the Power of Joe, G. Wilkers, Ryan Walker, AZ Bro 95. I love it. Sticky Subject, Ozzy, T. Cleary. It's going to be a fun little Thursday, kind of a football Friday. We are off tomorrow. It doesn't mean the content stops. It's going to be stuff up here on PHNX Sports on YouTube. Make sure you're subscribed and like this video. But you sent this my way this morning, and I love the idea. Top 10 Cardinals right now. Did we do this last year? I don't know if
yes, we do it every year.
Oh, we do. Yeah, it's our annual tradition. Love doing this.
It is. We are ranking here in ranking season, which we're very big on. And while the Cardinals are going to have some omissions on the NFL Top 100, we thought, well, let's just be fair because we cover this team on a daily basis to rank the 10 best players on this roster right now. And it is, it's taken some time, some tweaking. I don't think we have last year's at our disposal. I would think there's some differences and some similarities, but here's what I'll tell you. This list is getting better every year we do this. And it was tough for us. We had to omit some players on the Cardinals roster for the top 10. I think we had trouble with filling out our back half last year, but I think that's a good sign. And then we're also going to break down, Bo, who needs to be on this list and where they need to be ranked this time next year, or things will have gone horribly wrong.
Yeah. It was a respectful negotiation between the two hosts of the show as we exchanged lists. We made tweaks. We made compromises. Very little vulgarities were exchanged. People's families weren't brought into it. Nobody's mothers were brought into it. So we full transparency, as we like to be, the most transparent podcast out here, is that, we came to, I think, a really good group of guys. But you're right. I mean, finally, there's some competition, because when we did this list 2 years ago, and man, I remember where I was when we did it, just all about these top 10 lists. It was, do we have 10 guys, that are viable enough to say are top 10 on this 53-man roster?
I would say right now, this is the strongest top 10 since 2021. And again, you could probably do a list of like 15 to 17 who were top 10 worthy, but this is the refinement. But here's what I will say. The top 5, I think, are pretty unequivocal. It just depends on the order. You and I actually had the order slightly different, and then our back half was different as well. So we're going to jump right into this, Bo Brock. The top 10 Arizona Cardinals, and the way we're going to do it here is we're going to do 6 through 10 first, and then unveil 1 through 5. And then we're going to talk about what should be the list next year. So let's take a look. Noah Man's got it polished up and ready to go. 6 through 10, the Arizona Cardinals. the top 10 best Cardinal players right now, and we're going to go from 10 to 6. And then we're going to talk about players who are likely omitted, Bo. Kicking things off, second best run defender in the NFL last season.
Yeah.
Borderline Hall of Famer. Yes, he's 100 years old. Calais Campbell comes over as a free agent and immediately cracks the top 10 for the Arizona Cardinals. Now, you can make an argument that says more about the Cardinals' defensive line than anything. And while I would love to put Walter Nolan or Darius Robinson yet, they have not played enough meaningful football. They are more important. They are more valuable. But are they a better player than Calais Campbell right now today? I would push back on that.
No, and you should, right? I mean, as far as the biggest, most proven commodity on the defensive line that came into the facility and entered this roster this year is Calais Campbell. I think Dalvin Tomlinson, you talk about omissions, I think he certainly makes his stake for this top 10 list, but I'm going to give the nod to Calais Campbell, over 100 career sacks, as you said, consistently one of the better run defenders in the league and still playing at a high level. And I think he merits a top 10 on the Cardinals roster right now. And I would love to see the young guys push him off of this list, and he'll just, fade off into the sunset and, out with the old, in with the new. But as it stands right now, I can only say Calais Campbell is the guy as far as that room's concerned. And it's well earned. It's well deserved. This is not like we're not giving him a gold watch and saying, hey, hell of a career, Calais. Here's your top 10 ranking.
I mean, he had an 82.3 grade via PFF last year. He had a handful of sacks, and then, like, former producer on this show, closeted Vikings fan, Damon Dog, is a huge Dolphins fan.
Yeah.
And he was like, that's our best player on our front seven last year. It's like, oh, really?
Well, the eye test last year, we're watching him. We made the road trip down to Miami, and he was the most disruptive guy on that Dolphins defense. It's not the guy that's getting the headlines this week as part of a blockbuster. No, Jalen Ramsey looked washed. He got toasted by Marvin Harrison Jr. in that game. No, the guy that was making the most noise for the Dolphins last year now is, dusting off his old 93 jersey for the Cardinals, and it's Calais Campbell.
Yeah. I think there's a one and done for Calais on our list, but he is here nonetheless. Let's keep things going. Number 9, Yelda Froholt, who, by the way, top 10 on our list. PFF had him as a top 10 center, one of the best free agent signings of the last decade plus for this franchise. I think the best free agent signing for Monty Ossenford in 3 seasons. Now, that's not saying much given some of the other players, but unequivocally the best center since Lyle Senline. Probably could have been higher in certain circumstances. Yeah. He had like a training camp injury scare last year, and we all were collective, like, knuckling up, like, oh no, is this it? And then Gannon, big sigh of relief at a press conference. And then he took us 2023, which was already good, and he had a great 2024. So we saw the video, what was it, earlier this week, of him pushing around people UFC style. I mean, he is just a mountain of a man. And it shows you, like, the NFL sometimes has a developmental problem with offensive linemen where they don't find their footing until, like, their second contract. He's like a mid-round pick once upon a time who needed to be a backup to build up his strength from the collegiate level. And now he's blossomed into a high-end center, a starting center for this team that they desperately needed.
And I think he transcends just the playing field. I think he's a great teammate. I think as far as the way he leads the charge in the weight room, that has reestablished a standard, set a standard for those guys to put in the work as far as their process off the field to prepare to play. And you love him. He's a fan favorite, the Desert Viking. He's in there just throwing around strange objects that, like, he found us on the side of the road just to you just see something heavy and wants to lift it. You love it. Yeah. Darth Vader. Absolutely. The Desert Viking. And he's consistent. He's stabilized that room. And Johnny, when you were out, I did the all quarter century Cardinals team, the best players of the 2000s. And I considered Froholt, even though he's only played 2 seasons. Now, Senline got the nod because he was the longest tenured of this time. But I think when it's all said and done, even if we just get 5 seasons, maybe he plays out the rest of his contract for the Cardinals, or maybe more. I think you're going to see that the play was probably even better than what we saw from Senline, who was steady for 8 years for the Cards.
PFF rating last year of 76.1, but run blocking almost to 70, or excuse me, to 80. Allowed just 3 sacks on over 1,000 snaps played. Then you go back to 2023, just as strong for a guy that, again, in his prime of his career right now. Like, we're going to get the best years. The Cardinals are going to get the best years of Yelda Froholt's career. And I mean, how many times have we done lists like this as a franchise and you don't have any offensive linemen? And he's the first of several here for the Arizona Cardinals. Moving on to number 8, Marvin Harrison Jr., here's what I will say, was on this list last year, and he has dropped somehow, some way, given the lofty expectations. I think we had him 6 or 7 last year. He is 8 now. And again, I know some people in the chat disappointed with where we rank him. I think it speaks more so to the rest of this roster. I don't think it's an indictment of Marv by any stretch of the imagination. Marvin Harrison Jr. off a rookie season where he led the team in receiving touchdowns. He came about a game and a half away from having 1,000 yards. He missed a game. And like when the Cardinals fed him the football, he produced. An argument could be made they didn't do enough to support him as a rookie, but I'm not holding that against him. He's done everything right this offseason to get his body ready for a breakout campaign. I mean, I'm still firmly in the camp. He is easily one of the 10 best players on this roster.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, the talent itself, if we're talking about just on talent and projectables, he's probably number 1, right? I mean, Marvin Harrison Jr., whatever variables or reasons you hold to be true of why he was held under the high, maybe unfair expectations we put up for Marvin in his first season, regardless, he's still a very good player for them. He was productive, as Johnny said, 900 yards, basically tied the rookie record for touchdowns by Arizona Cardinals, tying Fitz, tying Anquan Bolden. Fantastic company to keep, but everybody thought this guy was going to be an instant 1,000-yard receiver, and he was not. And there were games where he was non-existent, like including week 1. And we're looking for more consistency and like more sizzle from Marvin Harrison Jr. in year 2. And I think there's a lot of confidence that comes. Like they're not going to be back-to-back years where he goes down the list. 1, there's not a lot of room for him to go decline. And 2, I think there's just too much upside to where he's going to be firmly in the top 5 come next year. And we'll get to that.
Yeah, Matt, to the power of Joe, I think makes a great point. Like, Anquan Bolden is an anomaly for not only this franchise, but any franchise. Like, right. Bolden had a Jamar Chase kind of rookie season. It's funny. We could have talked about this on today's show. I think Benjamin Solak put together like the best draft picks of all time at each spot, and had Anquan Bolden like the greatest wherever Anquan was.
53rd, 54th.
Yeah, 54th. Yeah. I mean, that was
a fun list.
Yeah, it was. And Cardinals surprisingly well represented, but we expect Marv to be higher, and we're going to allude to that later on in the show. But keeping things going here, Mr. Bo Brock, 7 is a cash in from free agency. It's Sweaty J. Josh Sweat, who we outlined yesterday, snuck into the NFL top 100, 8 sacks, but immediately comes in the best pure pass rusher on the Cardinals. 15-plus pressures last year, was fantastic for Philadelphia, could have been the Super Bowl MVP. The Cardinals bought their way into a pass rush, which is, by the way, exactly what they needed to do this offseason. They did not need to pinch pennies. They did not need to go the Gardeck, Dumakaji route. They needed to open up the checkbook. And how many years will Josh Sweat be on this list? I hope he's on it for the length of his contract. I hope that every year it's like 10 sacks, Sweaty J, put him in the top 10. But I do feel like this year, rightfully so, his last time we saw Josh Sweat on the field, you couldn't make an argument he's the best defensive player on either side.
2.5 sacks, really pushing Patrick Mahomes about as far as he has been in his NFL career in that Super Bowl. But they got to give the award, they got to give the flowers to the quarterback, right? And they're always going to do that. But Sweaty J showed up, showed out, got paid, and now comes here and as you mentioned, he could be a mainstay. He's shown that consistency throughout his career, and finally kind of getting acknowledged through free agency and most recently with 95th on the top 100 players list just yesterday from the NFL. So good enough for being one of the top 100 players in the league. On 32 teams, he's certainly a top 10 guy for the Cardinals. We have him checking in at 7 right out of the jump.
Yep. Number 6 on this list, I think very similar where he was last year. It's Paris Johnson Jr., who I don't want to say he didn't regress last year. He was I think a Pro Bowl alternate, should have made the Pro Bowl. But I think, he's 24 years old. His birthday, by the way, is today. Just turned 24 today. Did Paris. Unequivocally the best tackle of my adult life. I think he has already supplanted, in my opinion, DJ Humphries. I know that's a hot take for some people. I feel like his pass protection is supremely gifted for his age. Like DJ Humphries, it took like half a decade for him to become I think a really good player. Paris Johnson, an 80 PFF grade last year. I mean, he was tremendous last year. 78.1 in pass blocking. Gave up a couple snaps or sacks and then got banged up. If you remember at the end of the year, I think just the toll of the season, but he's a dominant player when he's healthy. And again, like speaks to Paris Johnson Jr. on this team, like in 2023, like coming into the season would have been a top 5 player.
Yeah.
It speaks to, I think, our top 5 that we're going to break down. Like Paris is exactly what you wanted. He's going to be paid over $100 million, probably in the next 18 months. He's a leader, a stalwart. He'll be a captain. It's going to go down as one of the best draft picks of the last 20 years for this franchise.
He made a tremendous jump. You look at the grades provided by PFF. I think he was in the 60s, as you mentioned, up in the 80s. You look at how he comps to the rest of the tackles in this league, and he's up there, with guys that check in probably anywhere from like 6th best tackle in the league to about 12th. Like I think he's in that conversation with upside, with an ability to even go further. Because, there's the quickness, there's the lateral quickness. He's got like dancer's feet for a guy his size, unbelievable size, but also more room to get stronger. Yeah. I think the stronger he gets, the better he's going to get at pass pro. The better he's going to get is being kind of a bulldozer in the run game. Like getting back to that all quarter century team, I had Jared Valdir as their left tackle. He's probably the best pass protecting tackle the Cardinals have ever had. Yeah. And, can Paris Johnson Jr. tap into that? Can he kind of push for that one? I think he's built for it. And for him to be where he's at the rankings, not an indictment at all. I think this is something to be exciting about. It's a testament to Paris, and it's a testament to, who emerged last year and who's going to be in our top 5.
Yeah, Paris did not have a pass blocking grade lower than 61 last year. There was a time as a Cardinal fan in our fandom where we would have happily signed a player with a 61 grade. And we've been like, that's an upgrade, right?
Right.
He didn't have his lowest grade was against Nick Bosa at San Francisco, was 61.2, and then he averaged 78 for the rest of the year, or higher than that actually. With highlight, he had an 86.8 in his final game against New England last year. He dominated the Jets, 77.7. The Dolphins, as we mentioned, 76.3. Buffalo, 78.5. He was dominant in that opener last year. So one of the best players on this team and soon to be one of the highest paid offensive linemen in the NFL. So that's our back half of our top 10, 6 through 10. I want to talk about, well, we'll wait to do emissions, I guess, until we reveal the entirety of the top 10. We're going to get to the front end right around the corner here. It's PHNX Cardinals. So fired up that you're choosing to spend the start of hopefully your holiday weekend here with us at PHNX Cardinals. Consider spending a night out with our friends at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Guess what? Bo Brack and I, we're going to be there next weekend hanging out. You can gather with friends to watch sporting events, big ticket, boxing, UFC playoffs, NBA postseason. We've got Major League Baseball. BetMGM, the sportsbook at Gila, is the biggest sportsbook casino in the great state of Arizona, and it is a premier place to hang out with you and your cohorts, your buddies, your friends, your fam. Oh, and you can go on the rooftop steakhouse. They've got a premium pool that Bo and I are going to be dabbling in, sampling next weekend, and more. This is the ultimate viewing experience for the ultimate staycation. If you live in Arizona, if you're coming out of town, book a reservation now. You do you. Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit playatgila.com for more details. We got details. We're going to be there every single football Sunday for watch parties, for away games. We can't wait to see you achieve legendary status with our friends at Gila today.
July, time to celebrate that red, white, and blue, right? Tomorrow, the Independence Day. Be smart, stay safe, of course, when you're out enjoying the festivities, but also be smart about your energy use. Nearly half the energy costs come from cooling and heating. We all know that, living here in the desert, trying to cool down your dwelling. A smart thermostat can help you manage your energy costs. How about just control your thermostat through your smartphone? And APS can help create a rate plan that's going to help you automatically adjust your temperature in your home. And they got smart thermostats as low as $0. Check them out right now. Get those instant rebates, discounts, special offers, and smart thermostats for energy-efficient appliances at marketplace.aps.com. That's marketplace.aps.com. Right now, APS customers may be eligible for smart thermostats as low as $0 when they enroll in the APS Cool Rewards program. If you already have a smart thermostat at home, see if it's eligible to enroll in the Cool Rewards. Plus, free install is available at marketplace.aps.com. Must be an APS customer. Shipping and taxes will be paid. But other than that, you're going to save big. Other restrictions apply. Go to marketplace.aps.com for more info.
Do us a favor, drop a like on this. Subscribe to PHNX Sports here on YouTube if you haven't done so already. Get us to 50,000 subscribers. Keep helping us become and establish ourselves as the #1 Arizona Cardinal podcast. We appreciate everybody in the chat, all 134 plus here, as we break down our top 5 Arizona Cardinals entering in to 2025. And you might be able to guess who this group is, but what about the order? Let's take a look. Brack, the front end of our top 10 here. Let's see it. Noah Man. We'll kick things off. Number 5, the best ascending player that was drafted by this regime in terms of his PFF grade, his coverage grade. He was listed, in fact, today by Pro Football Focus, the #1 cover corner from last year. It's cornerback Garrett Williams.
Yeah, in zone coverage, right? That was Garrett Williams, and what are the Cardinals primarily in? It's zone. It's kind of the calling card of Nick Rollis and Jonathan Gannon, and they got themselves. They identified a guy in the 3rd round in the 2023 draft that was injured, but was kind of the perfect fit for him, and it's turned out to be the case. A student in the game, a guy who is just always what keeps football first. It's Garrett Williams, man. And he had a fantastic year last year, and he's going to continue to be on the rise for the Cardinals. I consider John having him up as high as 2. Yes. But I think the way that it played out, we've got him at 5, and that's a good problem to have when you've got a great player like Garrett Williams 5th on your team rankings.
Paris and Garrett make that draft class from 2023. I don't want to say like an all-timer, but I mean, like, when was the last time the Cardinals had a draft class where like a 1st rounder and a 3rd rounder are both going to get huge contract extensions and are some of the best of their position? Like I would say like maybe 2015, like DJ Humphries, Marcus Golden, David Johnson. But again, that was even a different time in terms of like Hump wasn't ready and Marcus Golden took a few years to blossom. He got a nice second deal though. And then, David Johnson got paid and then flamed out. Like, to me, it feels like premium position, big time money, Pro Bowl bursts. Everybody's behind this year on Garrett Williams. I feel like next year it'll take everybody a year to catch up, especially if the Cardinals win meaningful games. So yeah, Garrett Williams, I think you and I could have ranked him higher, as you mentioned, but 5 is a great place to be, especially when you consider the names ahead of him. And let's talk about number 4, Brack, Kyler Murray.
Yeah, and you've got Aiden saying Kyler Murray's not as good of a quarterback as Garrett is a corner. Look, I mean, Garrett Williams plays slot corner, and it's an important position for this defense, but there's no more important position on the field than quarterback, and Kyler Murray can play that at a high level. We're looking for it at a more consistent clip, but I give him the edge because he's playing a more complicated, tougher spot, quarterback, right? And, obviously we want to see more from Kyler. The number is pedestrian, but the talent undeniable. And you'd like to see him tap into that upside. And he has the ability to be #1 on this list. This is kind of, I think 4th is like, man, unfortunately we put him at 4. But I don't think I could put him any lower than that.
Yeah. I mean, guys, it's a franchise quarterback. Quarterback gets graded on a different scale than every other position, just about. I mean, it does. But again, like Garrett Williams is an exceptional player. Kyler Murray has to retain the most information, be in charge of everybody else on his side of the ball, has to carry the franchise. I mean, it's just, to me, it's not even comparable. And again, like, I understand, like, Garrett Williams is an ascending player, and a lot of people feel like Kyler Murray is not. But I mean, Kyler Murray still, at the end of the day, like, they need him to play well to win games, right? Like, Garrett Williams can have an off day and the rest of the team can pick him up. So I think it's value, it's playability, play level, expectations. Kyler Murray, number 4, again, inconsistent, sure, but one of the 5 best players on this team, absolutely. And again, like, whether you want to put him first or 5th or 4th or 3rd, I don't think it can be argued he's a top 5 player, but you could put him 5th. I wouldn't have an issue with that, no doubt about it.
Yeah. Kyler Murray 4th on our list. We move up our top 5. 3rd, it's running back James Conner, who's been so consistent back-to-back seasons on the ground over 1,000 yards. He's been a guy that has been big, just over total yardage. I mean, when you consider he is a threat out of the backfield, catching the football for Kyler Murray, finds the end zone plenty of times. He's really solid in goal-to-go situations. James Conner's been a rock for this team. He's been so steady as he enters, year 5 with the organization, and aging like a fine wine. I mean, it just gets better with age as he enters his age 30 season for the Cardinals and starts his 2-year contract extension that he signed in the middle of last season. James Conner, undeniably a key cog as far as this Cardinals team goes. And when you think about being a vocal point of either side of the football, he's a focal point of the offense. What they want to do is establish the run. James Conner does that week in and week out.
There's going to be a time where this team is not relying on him or overly reliant. We're not there yet. And every year I think we're going to get there. And this is an indictment on James. I think it's more of an indictment on maybe the OC. It's like they need James Conner badly. Like, when James Conner leaves the field or misses time, like, you feel it as a Cardinal fan. They are not the same team without him. And unequivocally, that's why he's a top 3 player. He's one of the greatest free agent signings in the history of this franchise. I think he is unequivocally, in my opinion, and I saw your quarter century list, like, David Johnson's peak was higher. James Conner's been a better Cardinal than David Johnson. Just consistently showing up every year, scoring touchdowns, short yardage, what he brings from a leadership standpoint, carrying a bad team a couple of years ago. I mean, just, he's everything you want. It's everything you want, a person and a player. And again, you and I were ready to write him off with this new regime.
Right.
Defensive running back probably won't stick around. He got extended during the year. We have it sourced. Like, Gannon said, the one player that they had to get signed this offseason from an offensive, they had to get James Conner re-signed. Like, Gannon was like, well, I'm not letting that guy leave.
Right.
Like, well, of course not. So to me, it's like, until he stops running for 1,000 yards and 4 yards a clip and 10 touchdowns or whatever, 8 to 10 touchdowns, like, he's going to be a top 5 player on this team. Plus, and we always mention this, you have to have a big back with Kyler Murray. That's not a luxury. That's a damn near a mandate. And maybe Trey Benson takes the next step this year, but like, I was pushing for Cam Scatterboo because I think this team, we're still looking for that heir apparent for James Conner.
Cam's not that big. Just so you know, FYI.
I think he can handle. I think he plays bigger. I think in our game can be bigger. He plays.
But
bigger.
Look, James encapsulates everything. He's the epitome of being an Arizona Cardinal under Jonathan Gannon. Gannon called him the blueprint. How he prepares, his process, it's all dialed in. How he handles himself on and off the field. And he's number 3 on our list. And the guy that we're going to bring up is number 2, another guy that we thought was going to be written off based on his position and how the NFL values it, how the new organization could potentially value him and what his impact is. And Budda Baker completely wrote his own story here and changed that narrative on his own just by his play, just by his willingness to buy into the new regime and continue to do what he's always done, be the heart and soul of this organization and lead by example, man. I mean, Budda Baker, I think he gets the edge for me over James Conner for 2 here, just because the last 2 seasons, because of the lack of talent on the defensive side of the football, opposing offenses could key in on Budda Baker, and he still performed at a very high level.
Would have been very easy for Budda Baker and this franchise to divorce and separate when Jonathan Gannon took over, not because of the current regime and Austin Ford, But because Buda Baker's like, you guys are rebuilding, I want to leave. I'm not into this franchise. Bye. And that could have been it. They would have been like, you're going to play in 2023, but if you're not happy and your kind of play falls off and you pull Hassan Reddick, like, we'll ship you out of here, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to let players dictate it, but players can force their way with poor play. What happened when Buda Baker said he was going to hold out? He showed up at training camp in no shoes and socks one day, and then he was practicing the next day.
Right.
And then he and Jonathan Gannon are like, well, we're very like-minded. I guess we'll see how this goes. And Buda Baker's play has only, I would argue, risen this last year. I mean, he got extended before free agency because the Cardinals were like, we're not going to F around with this. This is going to work out. He was heat-seeking missile. If you missed it, Brian Baldinger on our show and every week broke it down. Just his ability to make plays at the line of scrimmage. Like, is he ever going to be like Ed Reed in terms of his coverage skills? No, but I still think he's a plus cover player. At his age, what he's been able to do, he's an all-time Cardinal. You can't let him leave. And again, communication, leadership. He and James Conner are like clones of each other. They just play different sides of the ball. So now what I will say for both of them is they're both approaching 30 and they both play non-premium positions. This is the last year that I want to see them as high as they are over some of these other players that the Cardinals have invested in the last couple of years. And I don't want their game to go down. I need some players to step up, and we're going to talk about that. But Buda Baker firmly number 2 for you and I.
Well, yeah, and Buda and James don't give a crap what anybody has to say. No. They didn't care what was going on league-wide when both of their positions were under fire, where, big-time safeties were being released, everywhere you looked, and running backs were being underpaid and undervalued, where James Conner, Buda Baker put their heads down and just went to work and made themselves undeniable to their respective franchise, the Arizona Cardinals, and the Cardinals rewarded that because that's what they're all about. And they realized that they still had good football left in the tank, even at, traditional ages that, production kind of starts to taper or fall off. So number 2 and 3, I don't think anybody can argue that. Buda Baker, James Conner, and our number 1, oh man, who doesn't love Trey McBride? Number 1 on our list, top Cardinal. You and I both believe, like when we sent our list, I think were our top 5 identical. They were pretty
in
close.
Terms of the players. Yes. Yeah. And I think our top, so just some non-good podcasting, but Bo had, we came to an agreement. I had Garrett Williams 3rd overall. But I think that was our only difference. But you and I both had Buda 2nd and then Trey McBride number 1.
Trey McBride is everything that the Arizona Cardinals want on and off the field. Good person, great player. Signed at the time, the richest contract for a tight end in the history of football. And this is an organization that position was as futile as it gets. Like they didn't have a 100-yard receiver in a game at the tight end position since 1989. Trey McBride has done it 5 times since ending that drought. And he was the focal point of the passing attack. Even when things were stagnant, Trey McBride would quietly put together 10-catch, 100-yard receiving games and just emerge and continue to tap into what, at times Steve Keim saw as a player coming out of the Mountain West as the top tight end in the country. Blind squirrel, broken clock, whichever cliche you want to use. He got it right with Trey McBride. And then Trey McBride ingratiated himself just the only way he could by playing tough ball and developing and getting better each and every day. And now is one of the best players at his position in the league. And he's the top Cardinal on the team right now.
In 6 matchups this year against the NFC West, Trey McBride, 511 yards. So almost averaged 100 yards per game in the division, in what people think is the hardest division in the NFL. He's going to go down as the greatest. I mean, right now he's on pace to be right there with Jackie Smith as the greatest tight end in franchise history. I think you and I think he's the best tight end in the NFL. Like, I know people love George Kittle and he gets the veteran award and he's always a constant and like Trey McBride's 25 years old. George Kittle's over 30 now. Trey McBride is the best tight end in the NFL. So he's number 1 on our list. And again, like, I did not love the pick when they made it because I'm like, well, they had just given Zach Ertz a bunch of money. Right. And so it's like, what are we doing? And I had watched this team take Troy Nicholas and a bunch of guys consistently bust at the position. And I remember you and Saul Bookman were at the Senior Bowl that year, and I tell this story all the time, and you guys were like, Trey McBride's the best player here. And I'm like, don't tell me that. I don't give two shits about that. And our friends at DNVR, Colorado State, were talking to us, and they were like, check out Trey McBride. I'm like, I don't want to talk about a tight end from Colorado State.
Right.
They're like, look at his yardage. I'm like, look at Andy Isabella's yardage at a bad school. I don't care about that. And then he got here, and he was inactive for his first game. And Bo, I was walking into our studio, and I'm like, Bo, why is he not playing? He's a second-round pick. Here we go again. And then we just needed a new regime to kind of turn their brain on. And, I mean, the rest is history. He would have had back-to-back 1,000-yard receiving seasons had they not given Zach Ertz a pass on that 2023 team and fed him the ball. He probably would have had 1,200 yards, honestly, 2 years ago. So
he was unreal. He was catching passes from Josh Dobbs. He was making Josh Dobbs look like a competent quarterback.
Yes.
You're giving me way too much credit. I wasn't at that Senior Bowl. I didn't started with the company. That was all.
Well, that's right. It was Saul Bookman and Shane Diefenbach.
Yeah.
They were talking up Trey McBride, and I'm like, no, I don't talk tight end. This team is like, they
even
need
on his
everything.
birthday, don't give Shane that much credit. Just give it all the credit to Saul on that one on McBride.
I will give him all the credit because I mean, like, you could just see with your, but like, Troy Nicholas was supposed to be good. Notre Dame tight end, stud, couldn't play, right? And they signed veteran free agents, Todd Heap, like none of it worked out. And so they get this kid, and it's a complete
an endless cycle, man. It was like, oh, Ricky Seals-Jones, man. This guy, he's
Rob Hausler runs a 4.1, and he's elite. I mean, that guy sucks. Get him off the team. That guy can't play. It literally, that draft class in 2022 lighted on fire minus Trey McBride. It literally, Hollywood Brown for a first. Who would have thought in Keim, what could have been his worst draft class, sans Trey McBride, he gets one of the best players in the entire class. He could end up being the best player in the class. We don't know, but yeah, he's the best Cardinal. I think he's going to do it again this year. I think he's going to have like 1,100 yards again this year.
Yeah. What points to him slowing down? I know that you're going to see an increase in production in Marvin Harrison Jr. and that's going to be a good thing. But Trey McBride's going to continue to eat. He absolutely is, and more so. If he's the status quo as far as yardage, you're going to see more touchdowns. I think he just becomes a better red zone threat. I think him and Kyler Murray and Drew Petzing worked that thing, hammered that out. They took some, they focused on it, I think, near the end of last season. And by the end of the year, like Trey McBride, I mean, he probably should have had 3 touchdowns in the final 2 weeks when it was all said and done, but couldn't get his head whipped around on that infamous play. But, Trey McBride, number one, what did we get wrong? I mean, I feel pretty confident in this list that it's as accurate as it could be. You said we'll get into the omissions. I already mentioned Dalvin Tomlinson, who I considered for this list. Who else did we miss?
I mean,
Mac Wilson
Sr. I mean, I think I had Mac Wilson Sr. right there with Calais Campbell. And a Mac Wilson Sr.'s got to kind of show he can do it again. His season last year came out of nowhere, and you can make an argument more pressures on him now with no Kazir White and what's going to happen at inside linebacker. To me, it's like, I think we had Will Hernandez on this list last year. He's gone from the franchise, although he could be an option down the line, maybe potentially. But I think we were pretty spot on. As much as I would love to see, Jalen Thompson once upon a time was on this list, and we're going to see what happens. Can Michael Wilson take the next step? But these are in my opinion, these are the firm 10.
Yeah. Can't disagree with much of this list. Yeah, Mac Wilson Sr. I think makes the biggest claim. Like we said, we had MHJ on this list last year. I think you Walter Nolan, if he is who a lot of people believe he is right out of the gates, he could be a top 10 player for them. I think that's somebody that as far as the newcomers, you can make a case for just based on how productive he was at Ole Miss in the SEC.
What does this list need to look like next year? Our prediction for 2026 based off of 2025. That's around the corner here on a football Thursday. It's PHNX Cardinals. Feeling the love today by everybody in the chat. Hope everybody has a happy and healthy 4th of July weekend, and stay cool this holiday weekend with our friends at All Pro Shades Concepts. Again, if you're outside here in Arizona and you're like, man, oh man, I would love for my patio to be up to 20 degrees cooler, give them a shout. All Pro Shades Concepts. They've got roll down patio shades that block out the sun, hundreds of durable fabric colors to choose from. They've got manual, they've got motorized, they've got track, sealed track, they've got cable shades, whatever you need. Plus, they can even take a look at what you got going on and potentially upgrade it. They keep it real with your HOA. They can replace, again, most old or outdoor patio shades because they're the most trusted local company for patio shades. Voted #1 by Arizona Patio Shades in 2024, triple B, A+ rating with over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google. They've been in business, folks, in the Valley for 20 plus years. Started making window shades by hand for friends and family in Phoenix. Now, again, they're one of the largest installers of patio roll-down shades and motorized awnings in the Valley. Licensed, bonded, and insured. Give them a call, 623-204-1476. That's 623-204-1476. Or visit them today, allproshadeconcepts.com. Schedule your free estimate today.
They own, of course, retractable awnings, and Empire Today owns flooring. They are going to get you the best options on new floors. Check them out. You can get $350 off. I see, look, right now, I think it might be a July 4th savings, $500 off new floors. EmpireToday.com/PHNX is going to give you all the up-to-date deals you can save as far as new flooring goes. Hardwood, you're looking to upgrade those. If you're looking for tile, laminate, carpeting, they've got it all, and they've got the professionals to make it quick, easy, convenient to upgrade your flooring. Whatever the dwelling may be, your house, your condo, check it out right now, EmpireToday.com. Tap into their expertise there. It's not like the big box stores, endless rows of you have no idea what you're looking for, sales associates that have no idea what they're doing. Empire Today does. Check them out right now. Log on to EmpireToday.com/PHNX. Schedule your free in-home estimate and start your journey with $350 off, $500 off. Just depends on which deal you want to tap into. EmpireToday.com/PHNX. Go to the website for the full details.
Big thanks to everybody in the chat. Drop a like on this video. Again, we got so much good stuff coming up, but right now, take advantage of our NBA free agency diehard sale. Again, $36. Become a diehard today. Get full access to everything at gophnx.com. Pick up a free hat and or shirt. Again, 20% off all future events, and of course, hang out. Perfect time to gear up in the member Discord. We appreciate all of our diehards. We've got so much diehard exclusive content, especially coming this fall as we ramp up. We're talking diehard exclusive podcasts, live Q&As, and more. So again, if you've been on the fence, now is the time. Just $36 for the entire year, plus a free shirt. Become a diehard today. Who will we diehard as a part of this top 10 next year? And again, this is a prediction / better get your ass in gear kind of list here for 2026. The top 10 for next year, Bo. And again, a lot of the same names. The order may be slightly different. And then there's some newcomers. Noah, man, let's see it. Bo and Johnny's top 10 for 2026. I'm going to go reverse order. Let's start with #1, Bo. It's Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah, MHJ, there's just too much talent for him not to rise this list, and has the talent to get atop of it. I mean, he's going to be a guy that is going to be on everybody's breakout candidate list, already is, just because of the skill set, what he's done this offseason, the lore that's already in place, that he never left the facility, never took any vacations, and he's just dialed in to being the best football player possible. When you've got all that surrounding you and the talent that in the prospect that he is, he's got everything that says #1 player of whatever organization he's a part of. It's just what we have him at 8, 7. It's just too low for him. Get him higher up these charts, and he's going to do it with a big sophomore campaign for the Cards.
Again, I think it's just, this is the kiss of death, but I just feel like if he plays 17 games, like, how is he not going to reach 1,000 yards and double-digit touchdowns after what he did last year? I mean, it felt like at times we're just trying to will production out of him, and he still almost finished with 1,000 yards, right? Yeah. And he was playing good football at the end of the year. So to me, it's Marv at #1. And then #2, back to our earlier kind of conversation, Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray, if he's a top 3 player and we're putting him at #2, like, Cardinals are right where they need to be. Clarity at the position, likely a postseason. I mean, Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison Jr. are the two most important players this year.
Yeah.
The fourth overall pick, the number one overall pick. The offense was stagnant last year. We know the defense is going to be better. And then you'll throw in Trey McBride. Like, that's the season right there. We spend 365 days talking Arizona Cardinal football and most of the offseason talking about upgrades and free agency in the draft. The season, in my opinion, Bo, in your opinion, likely going to be dictated by the play of Marv, Kyler, and Trey McBride. And if those three players are kicking ass and humming offensively, this team's going to be a force to be reckoned with. If we get Ohio State Marv, 2021 Kyler Murray, and just Trey McBride in this current form, this team's going to win 12-plus games this year.
The success of Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison Jr. go hand in hand. Mm-hmm. Like, one's not going to go be overly successful without the other. Like Marvin Harrison Jr., if as we've got him on this list, the number one guy in our rankings, that means Kyler Murray was getting him the ball, a high volume and a highly successful rate. And then we've got our current number one guy at number 3 in Trey McBride. If he's still that guy, and Kyler Murray is going to have some gaudy statistics. And with that, he's going to rise everybody's rankings. He's going to probably be in the top 10 or fringe as far as how the league views him at his position. And it's just going to bode well overall for all parties involved, including Kyler Murray. So that's a good thing for the Cardinals. So MHJ, Kyler Murray, Trey McBride. If that's the case, this passing attack takes a step forward, and it's just a huge positive for this organization.
And then we round out with the two kind of bells of the 2023 ball, Garrett Williams, Paris Johnson Jr. We've highlighted them. Paris, franchise level left tackle. Both players could get extended next year. And again, you make an argument for both those guys being 4 and 5 right now. So let's look at the back half, 6 through 10. You mentioned it. Walter Noland at 6, and then I'll jump ahead. Darius Robinson at 8.
Yep.
They're first rounders for a reason, Bo.
No doubt about it. And I think going to benefit from the vets that made their way onto this roster. Just it's no longer, hey, Walter Nolan, you're our only hope. Get in there and go win us a football game. Go win up front. They're going to be a part of kind of a collaboration in the defensive line rotation, where it's not just Nolan and D-Rob at 6 and 8, but they're going to benefit from a diverse defensive line group that are all going to have their ability to impact the game. And I think Walter Nolan's going to be in a really, really solid spot, conducive spot for success right away. And I think with his skill set can get up the board quickly after just not being in our current top 10.
Yeah, I feel like, Bo, to your point, Walter Nolan could be a top 5 to 7 player on this team this year. If things break right, you know how we feel about Darius. Darius just needs to play. He's got an incredibly high floor. Buddha and James, again, this is not an indictment of them. It's just like we want other players to step up that were high draft picks for this team. I mean, the Cardinals have had how many first rounders over the last 3 years? Marv, Paris, Darius, Walter Nolan now. Like, all those guys need to be playing well for this team to get to where they want to be. And then, oh, by the way, we snuck in Will Johnson on this list because he could have been a first-round talent. I think, we do a discredit maybe a little bit to Max Melton because he was a top 50 pick and he played well last year, but Will Johnson just has a higher ceiling and more polished as a college prospect.
Max Melton is a skill set to be a really productive, really good defensive back in this league. Like Will Johnson has the skill set to get the flash that the national media love to pick up on. Like this is 9 interceptions in his Michigan career, 3 pick sixes. He had more touchdowns scored on defense than he allowed 2 in his Wolverines career. He's absurd. And he's a guy that fell to the Cardinals because of a medical kind of anomaly that pushed him down the draft board. And, whatever it may be, he fell into the Cardinals' lap, and they're going to be the beneficiaries of that fall. And he's going to be able to start his career here and hopefully have a lot of success, has the ability to do that. And he's going to be like, the ability to take the football away is not one that ever gets overlooked. You get picks, people pay attention to you, and I think he's got that chance.
Absolutely. Again, let's take a look at it one last time here. Our projected 2026 top 10. Again, we'll keep this locked and loaded here, and we'll look back on it throughout the course maybe of this
kept
season.
Buddha and James on here. I think I saw somebody say like James fell like a rock. No, this is more like guys emerging, but also us saying like we don't expect Buddha or James like to just fall off a cliff. Like they're not going to just be a shell of themselves, like, because that would be bad news for the Arizona Cardinals. But I think they could still play at a high enough clip to be included in this. And now it's a really competitive group to get into. Like this, I anticipate this being really tough to break down come next year.
Yeah, I mean, there's no Yelda Froholt. There's no Josh Sweat, right? There's no Dalvin Tomlinson. What happens if BJ Ojulari makes noise this year? Michael Wilson? Like this, the Cardinals are deep now. Welcome, friends. It finally happened. Took 3 off seasons of building. By the way, you look at this list, 7 of these 10 players drafted, no, 6. I can count. 6 of these 10 players drafted by Monty Ossenford. Marv, Garrett Williams, Paris, Walter Nolan, Darius Robinson, Will Johnson. So that, I mean, like these guys at most are going into their 3rd year. I mean, that shows you they got their act together drafting. 9 out of 10 are Cardinal draft pick. That's what you want. Mm-hmm. As much as I want to see like Cardinals sign X free agent and he's like one of the best players on their team, I'm like, maybe just be a piece, right? And so, no Yelda, no Josh Sweat, but they could easily be in there as well. So what do you think about our list as we look ahead to 2026? Who needs to be firmly in the top 5? Who's in your top 10? Drop a comment, leave a like. And guess what? We're capping our 4th of July coverage here right around the corner. We're talking special teams. How about it? How about some punting news? That and more. It's PHNX Cardinals. I'm into special teams. I'm more so into Wendy's, specifically Wendy's Frosties. Again, if you love Wendy's classic Frosty flavors, by the way, perfect 4th of July, Wendy's Frosties, perfect pairing. We've got big news. We've got an all-new Frosty Swirl and Frosty Fusion flavors that you can get in either chocolate or vanilla. It's just the same creamy treat you've always loved with now a flavor refresh. They've got strawberry, brownie batter, and caramel, and they've got the Frosty Swirls to boot. They've got the Oreo brownie caramel crunch. They've got Pop-Tart flavors, tons of different flavors for you to choose from. Customize it yourself, but you can only do it with our friends at Wendy's here. Whatever flavor you're craving, odds are they've got a Frosty for it. So clock in this 4th of July weekend, including midnight or later, for a new Wendy's Frosty, a classic or a refresh on a classic. It's got to be Wendy's at participating U.S. Wendy's. Hours, Bo, may vary by location.
That was not me. That was producer Noah. But I like the visual of just punching the clock and say, I'm here to destroy some Frosties today.
Yes.
Load me up. And you're not gonna break the bank buying Frosties. But look, you want to keep track of your money. Better place to do it. You're not gonna find one better than what's going on at Mountain America Credit Union, committed to helping out more than 1 million members, hundreds of branches through the West. Get 2 times the points of rewards credit card purchases through July 31st. That's right, through the rest of this month. Sign up over at Mountain America Credit Union. You get double rewards through July 31st. 2 times the points on rewards credit card purchases like, how about gas, groceries, travel, home projects, other purchases. Mountain America Credit Union wants to reward you for spending your hard-earned money and keeping it in their bank, their credit union. Promotion, easy way to stretch your dollars since you earn twice as many rewards. Loans approved on credit. Offer can change or be withdrawn at any time. Limited time offer. Terms and conditions apply. Full details, macu.com/double. It's macu.com/double.
Big thanks to everybody hanging out with us here on a football Thursday ahead of 4th of July holiday weekend here. It's a special time as we give thanks to everybody here who continues to make the ultimate sacrifice here on 4th of July weekend. We're going to make a sacrifice, not to that extent, but we are going to talk special teams here as we continue our position preview this offseason. Special teams kicking us off, Bo, and the Cardinals remain pretty consistent with their 3rd unit on the team.
That's right. Look, I mean, it's one that gets overlooked. It's one that doesn't get its flowers enough. It's a position group that is coordinated by Jeff Rogers, who is the holdover from the Wilkes coaching staff.
Yeah,
he lasted through Kingsbury, and now he's here with Gannon and gets the respect from Gannon, Ossenfort, everybody involved. And it's one that when the Arizona Cardinals were rolling last year and going into the bye week, was playing at a very high clip, like from punt coverage to actual, punting the football and also making their kicks, as Chad Ryland did with 3 walk-off or 3 game-winning kicks like he had. There was just consistency across this third phase for the Arizona Cardinals, and it's one that they view as a pillar of importance to have success during any season, not just this big 2025 upcoming year.
Yeah, to me, it's a unit that often gets overlooked. I didn't like the DJ Dallas signing last offseason. He proved to be serviceable. Yeah. We think Greg Dortch is going to return punts this year. The coverage unit should only be better because the quality of athlete that the Cardinals have brought in via free agency and specifically the draft, like Denzel Burke's going to cover kicks for you. He's one of the best tacklers in college football last year, defensive back. Like this team is not respectfully throwing out slappies 2022, 2023 on their special team coverage. So to me, it's a unit that I think is going to remain viable. We know how much emphasis Gannon puts on it. With a defense that is trending this way, it has to be coupled by special teams. We saw 2016 with Bruce Arians, like that team should have been a playoff team, but their special teams were so horrendous, it basically knocked them below 500 that year. So we can see a unit like this one kind of catapult the team in the opposite direction. But let's take a look at Blake Gillikin, the Cardinals punter, who, by the way, did a nice job taking over for Andy Lee once upon a time, is in a position now to put together his 3rd consecutive strong year for the Cardinals punting the football.
Yeah, it's not the coffin corner. It's Gillikin's Island as he pushes footballs into, inside the 10-yard line, the 5-yard line. Yeah. But a strong leg, a guy that they missed when he was injured at the end of the season. I think, what was it? Michael Parody was the guy that filled in for him. But Blake Gillikin, after they picked him up, brought him over from the Saints. Look at the gross yardage. His gross punt average was over 50 yards, almost 51. It was 3rd in the league. And then his net yards were very impressive as well. You had him both seasons. He was a guy that was firmly inside the top 10, and I think is getting some notoriety as one of the better punters. And with those guys, those athletes that they deploy at the gunner positions, Joey Blunt, Max Melton played that. I think you'll probably see maybe Elijah Jones get an opportunity there if he stays healthy. 3rd rounder to get there. Michael Walker, who they signed from Washington, he was a guy that was, I think, in the top 5 as far as special team tackles. This is a group that they invest in. They have since Austin Fort came over. There was the story that Ari told us when he joined us, when he talked to Austin Fort. Austin Fort cut his teeth providing insight on Michael Slater, who's one of the greatest special team players in NFL history, to Bill Belichick. He knows how to identify talent in this phase of the game. And the Cardinals, they invest in it. They have each and every year under Austin Fort, and they realize the value of it.
It's a unit that, again, I think is just remain consistently in the top 10. If you're Gillikin, if you're your coverage unit, DJ Dallas, I think, we were all kind of teased with that first kickoff. It was like, oh, okay, is this going to happen like every week? Is this David Johnson-esque circa, 2015? Then he kind of tampered off. But as long as you're not a liability and you can complement what the Cardinals do, which I think you're going to take some chances offensively, I think the Cardinals could have, I don't want to say more 3-and-outs this year, but I do think they could punt the football more because they're going to take more shots. I think they were very conservative last year offensively. We saw less of Blake Gillikin. To me this year, I think you're going to get maybe a little bit more boom or bust, and I'm all for that if it leads to more points. And the Cardinals defense, they're going to be able to play themselves out of some jams. Yeah. So it's a unit that thankfully we don't have to worry about, Bo, under Austin Ford and Gannon, at least up until this point.
Let's take a look at the entirety of the unit and we'll see. So we've got it kind of color coded here. We got guys who are thriving, like we mentioned, Gillikin, I think Dallas, and then special teams ace Joey Blunt. Those are guys that are just staples as far as this group. We got Dortch here. I think the punt returning spot could be a little bit vulnerable, up for grabs. I think you want to see, we haven't seen a big return. He had, I think, a couple in the 20s last year. Haven't seen a punt return touchdown for a while. And then I think the place kicker is always on the chopping block. Chad Ryland was, the way he filled in, he had that great run, that Linsanity run where he was kicking a game winner. It felt like every other week. But then you look at him, he's got what? He's 28 for 32, 26 for 27 as far as extra points. He's a young guy. He's 25, and he was a 4th round pick for the Patriots, but he was released by the Pats shortly after kind of being drafted by him. You just hope that he continues to kind of settle in even more so and provides you the stability that you had for Matt Prater, who was not asked back because of the belief in Ryland.
Ryland was so good at a very vulnerable time for this team. You remember, like, when they started to win their stretch of games, weren't they like 1-3? They won that game in San Francisco. He started making big walk-off kicks against, of course, the Miami Dolphins. He was making big kicks before halves. Like, he was untouchable, and he Wally pipped a very good kicker for the Arizona Cardinals in the process. And this is not a throwaway special teamer. Like, Chad Ryland was a high draft pick for a reason. He just, for whatever reason, didn't work out with his first team. That happens all the time. He's a 4th-round pick. It's 112th pick in the draft. It's like right where like Michael Wilson was picked. Some of these players at the back end of the 3rd, early 4th. So
higher than Shedeur.
Higher than Shedeur Sanders. So to me, it's like, was vetted by the Patriots scouting department that they know special teams is just about as any better than anybody, especially during Bill Belichick's tenure. Like we saw enough last year. The minute that he made that walk-off against the Dolphins, how about the kick against the Dolphins, like early in the half?
Needed it.
Yeah.
Absolutely needed it. Like,
I was walking back from,
yards. Yeah.
We did our halftime show, and you were in the press box. I was walking back from the concourse. I just shot the halftime show with Damon on remote. And I'm walking back into the stadium, and I'm like, did Chad Ryland just kick from 60-plus yards? What is going on here? And from there, it's just like when he got confidence and it was beloved by his teammates, it was just a matter of time. Prater was a great kicker for this team. But Ryland comes in. He's cheaper. He's younger, more effective right now. It's just that, to me, that's where you know Austin Ford's in his bag. The Rylands of the world, Mac Wilson Sr., Yelda Froldholt, like those guys aren't signed by Steve Keim. I mean, that's when you know, like, oh, our general manager knows what the hell he's doing.
Yeah. In additions that he had this offseason, utilize free agency, getting Walker, and then also getting Keaton Crawford, who had a ton of special teams plays at Nevada, at Texas, before transferring to Reno. If he makes this roster, I highly anticipate it's solely based on his ability to place teams. So this is a group that I think we're all pretty confident in. Like we did when we talked about the coaching staff yesterday, there's a ton of confidence in this special teams group to have success here in 2025 for the Cardinals and round out those 3 phases. We'll get into the other 2 phases, the ones a lot of people care more about. Not a slight on the special teams group, but we'll get into, bigger, more valuable position groups after this, but you got to like what they're running back here with this crew.
We're running it back to overtime to answer your super chat here on a 4th of July preview, or 4th of July Eve, if you will. We appreciate everybody hanging out with us on your long holiday weekend. I hope everybody has tomorrow off. If not, hopefully you're safe, happy, and healthy regardless. Brian, $5, friend of the program here. Happy Cheeky Colony Day. Excuse me, if I could read, everyone. The day we stood united and said beans on toast are trash. The only throne we need is porcelain. Wow, that's quite a super chat, Brian. I appreciate your support of the show. And everybody going to be enjoying, hopefully, a good amount of food and beverages tomorrow. Adult beverages, drink responsibly. But Brian, we know you'll be celebrating, my guy.
It's a good one, man. Even though it is unbelievably hot where we live for this holiday, still get out there, get somebody to man the grill, get some cold ones put down. As somebody that is a huge football fan, like, what's synonymous with this holiday? And it's a horrible, like, near tragedy. But JPP always comes up to me, Jason Pierre-Paul, and how he nearly blew his own dang handoff.
I mean, that's in play for sure. I would say the hot dog eating contest, though. Yeah. Joey Chestnut. I love watching people throw up. It harkens back to our 9, 9, and 9, where we ate 9 hot dogs, and I thought I was somebody. But I mean, like, I think 4th of July videos.
The mind-boggling things where it's just like, I can't believe this guy, with all this success, so much to lose, was idiotic enough to hold on to a firework to where he nearly blew his hand off.
And you know what?
Blown away by that.
He made a terrible choice, but he revitalized his career and
Won a Super Bowl.
Won a Super Bowl with Tampa and Bruce Arians. I think had like, here, I'm pulling this up. He had like 9.5 sacks with one hand. I mean, it's pretty unbelievable. He was a really good player for Tampa toward the end, but yeah, made a poor choice, but thankfully didn't lose his life or anything like that. But yeah, that's wild. 4th of July,
disclaimer out there. Don't hold fireworks while they're lit. Don't hold lit fireworks.
It's like that thing from Armageddon. It's like you place a firework in your hand, burn your hand, you close your hand, it's gone. It's like, don't do that. Josh Espada.
Armageddon?
Yeah, because they were talking about drilling into the meteor. And they're like, let's just send a nuke at it. This is like, wouldn't do anything. You got to drill inside of it. And then,
I love you really have to suspend logic when you're watching that movie when they're like, the people at NASA are like, we can't figure out how to drill. So we just got to go get a bunch of oil rig guys to come in.
You can't put together your drill machine, Bruce Willis.
We know how to launch people into space and bring them back, but we can't figure out how to drill into this rock.
I love that movie. It's so good. Josh Espada, $4.99, another friend of the program. My honey bunny, sweetie pie Greg Dortch will be incredible this season. Light the Dortch. I hope so. We say it every year. It's like Cardinals don't prioritize Dortch until they need him, and then he always produces. But Greg Dortch, best thing that happened to him, Cardinals didn't add a receiver of note this offseason. So to me, it's like he's next man up if something were to happen, or if he finds his way into the starting lineup. They don't throw the ball enough to warrant like many 3 to 4 receiver sets. They would rather have 2 to 3 running back sets. They'd rather have Trey Benson, Amari DiMercato on the field than Zay Jones and Greg Dortch, which is flipping nuts. But
yeah, Drew Petzing's just dreaming up 13 personnel packages and wants as many tight ends on the field as possible. And your sweetie pie honey bun Greg Dortch, unfortunately, a victim of those circumstances. But yeah, get him on the field. We need to see more of what we saw from Greg Dortch in back-to-back ends of the season. Like, what he was able to do, put Bears defenders on ice skates, that 2023 season en route to a touchdown, to 2 touchdowns against the Niners in the finale, getting the ball in space and making defenders look silly. Also, Josh, I did notice your profile pic. It's a throwback now, and it's me, my head on a stick figure body saying I love you to, I think, a Cam Scattaboo in a Cardinals uniform, which never came to fruition. I'm sorry.
How dare you on this holiday weekend? How dare you, Sarah? For Chubb, $2. Prater's sacrifice will never be forgotten. Got us Marvin Harrison Jr. That is true. We were watching it at Gila River Resorts and Casinos, and I was actively rooting for the Cardinals to win that game. But then the Chargers blew their game, and they were hoping Do we ever figure out, like, if the Cardinals had won that game, would they have dropped from 4 to 5 or 4 to 6? It would have been. I feel like it was like a pretty steep drop. I feel like it was like Giants and the Chargers would have jumped them. Hang on, this is not good podcasting, but I'm going to pull up the 2024 NFL Draft. It doesn't have it by record. I wanted
such common knowledge for us in 2023. It was all we had. Like we knew the strength of the schedule that went into it. We did. Obviously, the same record.
I mean, people will argue that it would have worked out better, and I think it remains to be seen. They probably would have. The order would have stayed the same. I think, would the Cardinals have taken Joe Alt? Like if the Chargers had the 4th pick, I think the Chargers would have taken Marv
over Neighbors.
No, here's what I'm saying. Like Neighbors went 6th, Alt went 5th. Cardinals took Marv. If Cardinals are bumped back 2 spots, and the Giants are up at 5, and the Chargers are up at 4, I think the Chargers get Marv. I think Neighbors goes 5th, and I think the Cardinals get Alt at 6.
And the only other option is Adunze.
Yeah. I still think, like, after the 3 quarterbacks.
They love Joe Alt. He crushed their interview with them at the Combine. I mean, yeah. Then you could set it and forget it as far as your offensive line, which is not the worst thing. But
I think that the same 3 players would have gone, but I think the order probably would have been different. I think the Giants didn't need a tackle. Remember, that was the thing, is like they were like, we have Andrew Thomas, we're good. Like, I think it would have been Marv, then Neighbors again, and then Joe Alt would have been a Cardinal had they made that kick. But the Chargers sports hero definitely would have taken Marv. They definitely would have. I don't think they wanted Malik Neighbors. Clearly, they passed on him. So,
Darth Vader jumping back in, back-to-back days. $4.99. Thank you. Happy 4th to Bo and JV, the best Cardinals podcast. Thank you so much. We really appreciate that.
He sends it in twice. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Back-to-backs. We'll call it a 9 spot. $9.
You didn't have to pay again to just edit my name. I got you. I've seen several from baristas, spelling my name incorrectly on coffee cups to, there being alternate spellings anyway for Bo. You're good. We appreciate it. Thank you so much. It means more than you know. We're thankful to be a part of this community, and can't wait to get closer and closer to this team reporting for training camp.
If you are on the fence about becoming a diehard, now is the time. If you're on the fence about subscribing, what are you waiting for? We are gearing up for what should be the best season of Arizona Cardinal football since Bo and I have covered the team together on this podcast. If our top 10 was any indication, this team is locked and loaded for a big year. We want to have you be a part of it. We got packages right now with our friends at Bird Gang Travel. We're going to New Orleans week 1. We've got watch-alongs taking place, away games on Sunday with our friends at Gila. But become a diehard no matter where you're at, because we are locked in for a monster year as your number 1 Arizona Cardinal podcast, Bo.
I'm seeing those alternate spellings. Some I've never seen. Potato chip, never seen, Brian. Bosive, no, it is not short for Bo. B-O-E. Math to the power of Joe, just running through them. So, yeah, I've seen almost all of them. And then there's Johnny. There's a couple different spellings of Johnny.
So, John without Johnny, Jon, Johnny, Johnnny, which is how you spell my name. Jonathan, Jon. So, food for thought. Interested in that. If you're interested in subscribing,
I fell asleep listening to that breakdown of the name Jonathan, Johnny, all the iterations. And then there's Noah.
Man. Noah, what do you got plans this weekend for 4th of July?
Oh, I got so many plans. Just so many plans that listing off every single thing I'm going to do is just going to take way too long. So I'm going to save my breath.
Wow, that sounds really sad. No, I'm excited for you, my guy. What are you doing, Bo? Why haven't I been invited over to your house yet?
One of the kids is going camping, and then me and the wife are just going to hang out with the newborn in air conditioning. Yeah, there's just not much going. I was telling a couple of people at work that probably like, why are you telling me this? I was like, I'm gonna grill some meat this weekend because it's just, it just feels like it's the right thing to do, even though I'm gonna have to brave the heat.
That sounds fantastic. I'll be over shortly before the hot dog.
Still no invite. Yeah.
What if I just showed up to your house? It's like, hey, I abandoned my family.
No, it can do that. No, it can certainly do that. You're welcome. You and the whole squad are welcome. But no, if you're bored, man, come on over. We'll grill some up, put back some cold ones.
That sounds fun. I'm down for that.
$20. Go ahead. No, I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say I can suspend all my list of things to do for that.
$20 from our guy Shaft. Unbelievable. Wishing everybody a happy 4th of July. Stay safe, Bo. Did you tell Johnny that you guys are playing in our new diehard fantasy football league this season?
That's right. They were putting it together while you were out. We're into that. We are going to how many players deep is it? I think it's hopefully 12. But we'll see. Diehard Fantasy Football League. We're not going to take it easy. We're not going to be gracious hosts. We will dominate and take no prisoners.
Yes, and I got second in our PHNX Fantasy Football League. I should have won it, and I lost in the 4th quarter of the last game of the year, but we won't talk about that. We will talk about everybody needs to hit the like button. Get us to 500 likes. 4th of July holiday weekend. Drop a comment below. Who are your top 10 Arizona Cardinals entering 2025? And again, we got content dropping throughout the course this weekend. My thoughts on TJ Watt, Bo and I dissect Albert Breer's comments on playoff or bust for Kyler Murray and more, Bo. All of it can be accessed this weekend, so you got to subscribe here on PHNX.
You absolutely do. Subscribe to PHNX Sports, and look for that content. Albert Breer and Connor Orr got behind mics earlier this week and broke down if it's playoffs or bust for Kyler Murray. We get into that conversation. You're not going to want to miss that, plus so much more right here on PHNX Sports. Have a great 3-day weekend. Now, look, if there's breaking news, which we don't expect,
good Lord,
we'll pop back on. As Noah pointed out, he has nothing going on at all, like literally nothing. Like it's just he has no plans, and he's begging for an emergency podcast. But we don't think it's going to happen. Starting Monday, I'm filling in for Espo, so you're going to get a double dose of Bo 4 days next week. I'm going to be doing Southwest Bias. Why don't you join me at 11 and then again at 4:30 on Monday right here on PHNX Cardinals. Happy 4th of July. We'll talk to you guys soon.
We all silly like the mayor.